All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up is Impact Sense with Tilly Milburn and team. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Tilly Milburn, and this is my team. My business partners, Chad Ross and Grayson Stiglbauer, and we're Impact Sense. So this is Parveen Baji. Before receiving her microloan, she lived in poverty, and she was one of the 3.8 billion people living in poverty. After receiving a microloan of just $70, she was able to start a jewelry company and a catering business that quickly took off. After, she now employs 11 people in her community, and she was also able to put some of her kids through school. So her story inspired us to create Impact Sense. With Impact Sense, our mission is simple. We're giving everyday people like me and you the opportunity to invest in people like Parveen and make a difference around the world. So Impact Sense works on a very simple concept. Every single time the user makes a purchase, their transaction is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and then this amount of spare change is then put towards their next investment. The user can choose where they want their money to go based on topics they're passionate about, and our favorite part is that they'll actually be able to view some of the stories of individuals that they're helping. So why microfinance? Not only is microfinance helping people around the world, it's also going to be a sound investment for our users. On average, they can expect a return of 18 to 20% with as low as a 4% default rate. So now with microfinance, it's never been easier to make a difference while also making a profit.
So here's the latest version of our app. You start out by creating a login. From there, you create a PIN for safe and easy access. After that, you link your bank account through an API, and then you'll select your interest so we can gear your profile towards what you want to change. And now fast forward, and as your loans are redeemed, you'll see your account value, the amount you have invested, and the amount you've made. If you go to Connect, you can see who you're invested in and their personal stories. If you go to Invest More, you can choose to round up your purchases, do recurring investments, or invest or donate money anytime. And if you go to Performance, you can see how your portfolio is done over time.
So we have two main competitors in this space, Stash and Acorns, but we differ in three very distinct ways. We are impact-driven, while our competitors invest in large corporate stocks. We also give the user the option to donate as well as invest. And finally, like Tilly said, we're extremely personalized. You get to see where your money's going, who it's going to, and what they're doing with this money. Impact Sense is more than just an idea, and we already have a little bit of traction. We have 296 pre-orders for the app, and we're a part of the Apple Business Program to help us streamline to market. We also have 10 local Charleston businesses that have signed letters of intent stating they will match users' roundups in the future. So how do we make money? We plan on taking a small percentage of the user's monthly roundup. In addition to this, we plan on monetizing our partnership program, gamification of the app, and in-app upgrades. So join us because it makes sense to invest sense, and we're changing the world 1 cent at a time. Thank you.
Sorry.
Is this working?
Thanks. Does Grayson want this?
Oh,
Yeah, good job. I'm, very friendly with Stuart, and he's clearly coached you guys very well. So one of the things about microfinance, and I've been an investor in frontier markets and for a while, and one of the things you need to be, I think, aware of in microfinance is there's two sort of camps that have dominated that space. One being religious, right? So you've got there's been religious push for microfinance, but the other is almost like there's a big pushback on almost like usury laws, right? So sometimes these microfinance deals can end up being, loans at 25-30% when you get all done with it. So I think it'd be wise to kind of know some of that history. I mean, it's a good idea, but you might want to know a little bit of the long-term history because it's not all great in microfinance.
So, as I understand it, some of the keys to successful microfinance, some of the keys to successful microfinance are the administration of the loan and the people in the community who actually make the loan, because there's a social element of the repayment. There's honor and that kind of thing, and so that actually drives why the default rates are really low. So tell me more about how are you going to administer the money?
Yeah, so basically we're not going to have our hands on the money. We're basically going to be a set of instructions for the banks as to where to send their money through the microfinance institutions. And that we'll be using a software program called Plaid that will actually take the money out of their bank account and then put it towards the microfinance institutions.
So you guys are really just the front end collection portion of it. And then how do you get the money back to the investor?
So that'll be through Plaid as well.
So it's really, you're just the
Right.
collection
We're just
layer.
connecting the individuals and showing them like where their money can go. And some of the microfinance institutions like solely focus on women. A lot of them do because women are proven to repay back their loans more efficiently. And then also, we're going to be showing the individual stories of those that they're helping. So we're really just a personalization aspect of it, where we're like connecting younger generations and showing them how they can make money and showing them how they can make an impact. Does that answer your question?
No, it does.
Okay.
I think that would be important to say, because from this perspective, I'm like, there's a lot going on the other side of
Right.
the world that needs to be managed. So I think it's,
Right.
Look, I think this is fantastic, right? I mean, all of a sudden I'm like, dang, that's really, really cool. There's a huge market. I think that one of the things that you might want to talk about are the people who, there's a huge market of recurring giving. Like, people who give their $20 a month to World Vision, to other charities, and they just do it on auto, and they want to make an impact. An organization that I'm involved with through my business is Charity Water, and so I really care about water. Thank you. I really care about that, and I saw that was something in there. The loans, obviously, and so it strikes. I think what you're doing is awesome. I have never heard of anybody else doing it, so I think you're onto something really cool.
Thanks.
Those are the two things that I would just talk about, is that, hey, we're not actually going to be holding the money and being the fiduciaries, because there's that whole portion. So.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So can you go back to, there was a slide where you talked about reporting and performance, I think?
Oh, yeah, it's
At least you mentioned it, I don't.
it'll have to go through the.
Yeah, so one thing I would recommend is not reinventing the wheel. I mean, Fidelity, I've had a Fidelity donor advised fund for 20 years, I guess, and the technology to sort of manage that investing and reporting has been built and rebuilt and built again, and it's already really good. So I would rent that versus building.
Yeah, definitely.
Just one suggestion. The other thing though is, if I'm thinking about this as an investor, I mean, one of the problems, you mentioned performance, right? On a micro loan, performance can be really good on a one-time $50 loan. I can't go replicate that because that was already done, right?
Right.
So I think you need to think through, performance. If I'm investing in a regular investment that's marked to market every day, then I can go do that again. But these are very unique. So I think you need to think through how you talk about performance, because I might have 3 great loans that were really great performers, but I can't necessarily go replicate that. So
Definitely.
So your as far as that goes, the performance is kind of based on the whole value of the account.
Right.
So the money will go into different loans, and it's really just a plus minus of the whole account, not just one particular loan.
got it. All right.
So where are you guys in terms of the actual build? I can see there's a mock-up. Is it? Where are you in your process?
Sure. So we're really just building the user interface and experience right now. We've been talking to a couple of developers to get pricing before we start seeking funding. We're estimating between 100 and 300 right now. We don't have an exact amount. Our first estimate was 125 for the development of the app, which was way more than we were expecting initially. So it's really just developing the UI, the UX, and then really getting an exact figure for how much it's going to cost to develop, and then start seeking funding.
How much of this is APIs that you guys are tying into? Is it?
I would say the whole, everything to do with money is APIs.
Yep.
I think the ability to match their interests to the particular things could be handled by that, and like he said, the performance aspect of it too.
125 sounds rich, man, for a if you're going to be tying a lot of it into existing APIs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk after and find out.
Okay.
Let's see who you're talking to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's Ferraris and then there's like Fords, you know.
Also, I would think about, you had a slide there with banks as channel partners, maybe. You know, I would think that, I would be thinking about potentially, I mean, the Roundup model has been around for a while. I think I would actually put in my presentation, if I were you guys, some examples of who's lasted in that business, because I think people they like it in the beginning, and then I don't know how sticky it is. It might be very sticky. I don't
Right.
know, but I would give some data on that. But I think your channel partners, like if you are hosting this on a B of A, you know, if you're a partner with B of A or SunTrust, you know, if I might be interested as a bank to host your technology and maybe contribute to that Roundup.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would think about that.
Definitely.
As far as the Roundup goes, our target market is going to be younger generations and millennials to really educate on investing and making a difference. So that is who we're targeting initially. Because of that, not every college and high school student has just $100 to invest. So we really liked the Roundup feature to get people on the app.
Who on your advisory board is helping you with the gamification, besides user experience stuff? But
So Christian Root, he's already involved in the fintech space, and he actually gave us the idea of gamification of the app. So it could be like competing within your families, like, oh, my Roundups help plant 20 trees or help feed this many people, and you can compare it and give that social aspect.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, if every time I rounded up, I got a text message or
Sure.
a push notification that says, you know, you just helped, you're helping so and so, and in this bank in Bangladesh or something.
Sure.
I mean, the dopamine hit from that
Sure.
alone is
Right.
just
Absolutely.
insane.
Exactly.
So I think. So, if Christian, is he really helping you? I know he planted that seed, but is there somebody that you're going to who can walk you through the latest and cutting edge of ways to create feedback loops and gamification, that kind of stuff?
So there's not a direct person in the gamification who's helping us right now, but that's something to look into
Definitely
for sure.
look for that.
Yeah, that's powerful.
I'd like to talk to you guys. I'm not an expert in it, but
Sure.
but I know. I mean, there are some people out there who are just geniuses at every little aspect of when to hit you with the dopamine hit, when to call you for action,
Sure.
when to remind you that you're doing a great thing, so that you continue to do it, compete with others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk
Cool.
to you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Audience, yeah.
I love this stuff, and what I love to do is I didn't see your presentation, and you'll have to let me know what the difference is. I love Kiva.org,
Sure.
and I'm investing a little bit towards
Yeah.
that. I support this new
Sure.
What is it?
Kiva.org.
Kiva. Oh, Kiva.
Yeah.
So the biggest difference between us and Kiva is that our users will get a return. With Kiva, you're donating and you typically get your money back with a low default rate, but there's no return on top of what you've given.
Yeah, so they guarantee your money back, but they don't guarantee you any money after that. And they're mainly focused on taking donations, which a lot of microfinance institutions are. There are different types of microfinance institutions, but those that accept investment would be the ones that we would partner with, and they're typically in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So we're definitely going to be focusing in on those areas, and that's where our return rate came from.
Yeah.
Yes, go back to that.
When you invest, well, I guess you say you do invest and you do donations to different organizations. Can you change the organization? Like maybe for 6 months you want to do trees or
Sure.
you want to do kids or whatever. Are you able to change that and investments too?
Sure. So we're still figuring out exactly what our donation will be going towards. We've had a lot of people asking why we're not helping here in America. So it could be that our donations go towards nonprofits here in America, or the other path that we're looking at is something more like Kiva, where we give donations to these microfinance institutions with no specific return. At the beginning of the app, when you select your interest, that, if we did the microfinance route, that is where your donation would go, but you would be able to change that in the settings and everything.
Would you be able to do more than one at a time?
You would be able to select all of your interest. If you were interested in everything, we could create a diverse portfolio for you.
All right, question. So gamification, I'm like a huge game revenue.
Okay.
So But yeah, gamification could really help with that.
Sure.
Definitely by even, let's say they gave 5 times in a week, you know, give them a star, have different achievement levels.
Oh, yeah.
You never, I mean, I think it's quite easy, but that's because I game all the time. but no, seriously, like, you know, then with 5 stars, hey, you got a 5-star rating, cool. Even with the multiple portfolio, say if you, you know, have helped in America and helped in Asia, okay, you get 3.5 stars.
Sure.
I mean, you can even, I mean, that's another revenue model as well.
Yeah.
To get more points or something like that. You know, it's not hard. Like, don't think too much on it because it's a real connecting thing. It's easy.
Sure.
Like, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
I have
Thank
one
you.
thing about,
Go ahead, real quick.
with the gamification as well. You're taking in donations from here in the U.S. or overseas as well in Europe?
So we're going to start in America, and we're going to see if we want to expand. The user interface, as far as the app goes, will be in America, and the investments will leave America
Have you
and
looked
go
into
towards it.
GDPR, especially with the 25th coming up? This is a lot of data that's going to be.
Oh yeah, yeah, we
So
definitely.
if you're looking at microloans in smaller European countries or European unions, you have to look into GDPR.
Sure,
because
absolutely.
You're going to have to keep that all quiet, especially if you're doing gamification. You may not want my data out there.
Okay, sure, absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,